Okay, I'm gonna show you how I use Cursor AI to implement a new feature in RepoBot. Um, a lot of people ask me how I use this editor exactly and how I work with AI exactly. Um, and since people have been talking a lot about vibe coding lately, it's becoming kind of a meme actually, but um, every now and then I actually do use dictation, so I don't type prompts, I dictate them. I'm not a native speaker, so sometimes the results are weird, but sometimes it works. And actually, today it worked. So I figured let's try and build something with dictation, although I will be switching to typing if something is just too complex to describe in terms of like names of things and stuff like that, because dictating doesn't work well with certain things. So it's going to be like vibe coding and, typing prompts manually as well. But let me explain first what I will do. So I have this app called RepoBot. It's an app for helping you maintain repositories on GitHub essentially. And one of the features that I want to have is the ability to automatically update a changelog file in a pull request that is opened and ready for reviews. So the requirement is that I open the pull request in some repository. There are some changes, and the pull request is ready for reviews. I request a review, and a RepoBot is meant to receive an event from GitHub that a pull request is ready for reviews, and it should check what changed in the which files were changed and what was changed exactly, and essentially write an entry in the changelog file for you and push it to your branch, to your pull request branch. So there are a bunch of things that we need to do to make it happen, and I honestly don't know exactly what is needed. So we're gonna find out. I only know that there are some pull request events from GitHub and that we can process them and do some magic to figure out what changed and extend the AI interface that I have in the app to have a new function for essentially composing a changelog entry based on a diff, I think. We will see. So yeah, the first thing that I want to do is to just add a handler for the pull request event. Whenever a pull request is open for reviews, we just want to have a handler for this event and do something. It's not going to be anything concrete now. I just want to see what kind of information we receive. So I will start with that. So I know that we have a handler for GitHub events already set up. I'm going to add context to the cursor chat. So we have a router, so that's important because there are routes there, and we have hooks controller. I don't remember exactly what it's doing, except that we have, oh right, yeah, we already have some events handled here, full pull requests. So whenever a pull request is opened or closed or merged, the app processes these events and updates our own pull request information in the database. So that is good. That is a good start because we already have that. So we can just extend it to support events about pull requests being ready for reviews. So I don't remember if I added tests for this thing, probably not. Again, I prototyped like half of this app is just prototyped, so I was mostly focused on UI. So yeah, the test suite is at about 50% right now. Okay, yeah. So what I typically do is to just describe like basic requirements for the very first step that I want to take, and without like specifying all of the things that I want to do. I found that it doesn't work well if I describe a lot of stuff at the same time. Even if I'm like very specific about requirements, it almost never worked well. So like describing a little piece of functionality that you need initially without going into details of all the things that you eventually want to achieve just works better, at least in my experience. So yeah, I'm gonna just try and dictate this. So I have a shortcut for like dictating. If I stop, it's gonna convert what I just said to text, which is pretty cool. Okay. We have a GitHub events webhook handler. We already support certain events for pull requests, and I want to support a new type of an event that GitHub sends us whenever a pull request is opened for reviews. When this happens, the system should update the existing pull request that we have in the database and set its state to ready for reviews. Whatever. Yeah, and that's it. So I hope it got it right. Again, not a native speaker, so sometimes I don't pronunciate things correctly. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I didn't attach a lot of files that are related, but it's going to find all the things that are needed to make this work. And whenever you do this, like whenever you like describe what you need to, so it's trying to add a new field to the pull request schema, but we already have a status field. I don't think we need a new field for this. I think that we just need to use status. I think we have status. Yeah, we do. So yeah, I'm just gonna stop it. So I'm just gonna cancel this, and I'm gonna say use the existing status field in the pull request schema and set its value to ready for reviews. Yeah, I should actually add, pull request schema to the context. So yeah, one thing that is really annoying is that I have a rule about testing and test-driven development, and it explicitly says that you must write tests first, and it never does this. Maybe one day, but for now, yeah, it just goes straight to the implementation. So yeah, like it generated a bunch of code. I mean, okay, one function, and I will just manually test it out and see if it works, because that's going to be the fastest thing now. Yeah, okay, so I actually had to go and set up an empty Phoenix app, just because it's going to be a more like a realistic example. Also, I need a public repository so that I can create draft pull requests, because I don't have access to drafts in private repositories that I initially wanted to use for this screencast. Anyway, I got this thing, and we're going to create a pull request for this app. Yeah. Yeah, let's like, I don't know, change formatter. Oh, come on. Line length 120. Create new branch, propose changes. And draft pull request. In theory, we should have that pull request already. Okay. Why did Siri? Sometimes Siri just reacts to what I'm saying. This is weird. Yeah, so let's see if we have this pull request. No, we don't, because right, why do we? We should have that pull request because we are reacting to, oh no, right, because we only get pull requests when they are open but not in a draft mode. So let's try to extend it so that it gets all pull requests for our repositories, not just open ones. I think draft pull requests have different events. You know what? I'm gonna actually so what do we have here? GitHub pull request events. No, not this one. This pull request and draft. Okay. Well, yeah. Let's just say that it's gonna know what to do. I'm gonna just ask it. Make sure that any pull request that wait, now I'm thinking, because I added a new repository, maybe, is it actually? Oh, with action opened, received pull update formatter, merge false. Okay, so we did receive this event, but okay, now I remember. Okay, so initially I added support for pull requests only in case of a pull request that RepoBot opened, and here it's a different story because I opened it. So I know what to do. We need to change the logic so that any pull request for any pull for any repository that we have should be added. Yeah. Change pull request event handling in the webhook controller so that any pull request that we receive is either updated with a new state or added as a new pull request, even though RepoBot didn't create the pull request in the first place. We still want to have pull requests associated with the repositories in our database because we want to handle them in all kinds of ways in the future. Cool. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, it's gonna modify blah 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 blah. Let me check the pull request schema. Da, 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 da. The really cool thing is that in the agent mode, which is now the default mode, it's actually looking for relevant files in the code base. Previously, you would have to attach all the files manually, which was kind of cumbersome. So that's an improvement. Yeah, okay, so it added something. Yeah, exactly. Like previously, it would only try to update an existing pull request, and now it added a case for the situation where we don't have a pull request yet, and it creates a new one. So this is good. So yeah, I'm gonna just create a new pull request to test it out. Although I'm wondering if I change it, we will receive. Yeah, source file ID can't be blank. Okay. So we need to change our model so that pull request doesn't have to be associated with the source file, because now we want to do additional things with pull requests, and they are no longer only used for the source files and synchronization. Okay, so whenever I get an error, it is very useful to just add it to the chat, because I can just refer to it easily. We need to change our pull request model so that it no longer requires a source file ID, because pull requests may or may not be associated with a source file from now on. Yeah, I'm gonna edit this video quite a lot and just speed things up. Otherwise, it's gonna be way too long. But yeah, look at that. Like, we received a ready for review event. So that's great. We know that we received them. Now we just need to make sure that we are adding new pull requests whenever we receive an event about the pull request that we don't yet have. As simple as that. Why is it a slow request? Oh no. Yeah, I will have to speed things up in post-editing. I mean post-recording. Yeah, this is not good. I already enabled this yesterday and I increased the limit, and yeah, confirm, maybe it will help. So the way it works in Cursor is that if you have a paid account, I think you now have to have a paid account, you have a bunch of fast requests, as they call it, but it's a limit. So when you reach the limit, you will get slow requests, which just means that you need to wait a bit longer for the model to respond. But you can add additional fast requests and set a money limit. Essentially, it's $20 by default. So, but it's kind of crazy because I extended the limit yesterday and it's already gone. What? Anyway, yeah, it did the thing. Let's see if it's gonna add. If I like switch back to a draft, what's gonna happen? People who are already here will not be on scratch. Yeah, whatever. Convert to draft. And it crashed. Yay! Null value. Oh yeah, obviously, right. So we have a constraint. So yeah, here's another cool thing. Like, if you have this, you can like add it to chat and be like, create a migration that changes source file ID column so that it can be null. Yeah, it created the migration, it ran the migration, so now we should have, no, it didn't run it. Okay, would you like me to run the migration? Yeah, sure, please run it for me. That's obviously silly, like I should have run it myself. I'm just, showing you how it works. And it actually crashed, so that is... There was suggested a type mismatch issue with it. What did it do? Alter table, pull request, alter column, source file drop. Drop not null? What? Why? I would expect this to work, but it didn't. Yeah, whatever, like, as long as we get the result that we wanted, we're good. So now that we have this column nullable, I can reopen it. I think. There we go. Yeah. So this works now, and anytime we get an event that a pull request is ready for reviews, we're gonna either update an existing pull request or insert a new one. So like task number 1 is done, and now we can do the harder part, which is actually doing like the diff. And we already have functions for fetching file content from GitHub. We already have functions for creating a diff between files. I'm wondering though whether GitHub has an API for this. Maybe there is an API that we can use to just get the diff from GitHub so that we don't have to calculate it like ourselves. So let me just quickly actually no, let me just assume that it's gonna know, because so far it's been pretty good at figuring things out when it comes to GitHub API. So let's now add a feature where whenever there is a pull request opened that is ready for reviews, we get the diff of files that changed and a list of files that were added by a pull request, and use our AI interface to generate a short summary of the changes that would be suitable for a changelog entry. For now, introduce this new AI interface only with the implementation for Anthropic. Yeah. So like, this is a very general way of describing it, but it should figure it out actually. So it's actually really nice that it like provides a summary of what it's going to do. Sometimes I catch it early on whenever I see some like weird plan of action. I'm like, whoa, no, stop it. and then I like refine my prompt. Yeah, so I need to stop it because it didn't, that's silly. It didn't find an existing implementation of our AI stuff. So I need to like reject this, reject this, and yeah, I would just add it Anthropic AI pull request, and what else? Yeah, we have like our own GitHub abstraction essentially. So yeah, I'm gonna like specify. I use our existing Anthropic module and add a function called generate changelog entry. The new function should receive a pull request struct, and it should already include information about what changed in a pull request. Come up with a good model for this. A custom struct would be a good idea. Right, so what happened here is that I stopped the like generating a response and just stopped the agent and went back to the prompt and changed it. So now it wants me to confirm that I want to like continue by reverting to the previous state and just retrying. So yeah, that's exactly what we want to do. Okay, so this is nice because it found that the behavior that we have for AI interface. I have 2 different implementations of this behavior, and it's also just very helpful for mocking the tests. So it's nice that it added the callback. It figured it out without me telling it, so that's good. Okay, so it created a struct called pull request changes because I suggested that a custom struct would be good. The struct, we can see it's got different types of changes: added, modified, removed. Very good. Notice that I didn't even mention that files can be removed within a pull request. I only said that there are files that are changed and are added. I'm pretty sure I didn't mention that files can be removed within a pull request, and it figured it out by itself. So this is like a common theme where I just don't specify everything, but it can figure it out by itself whenever something is missing. So that's sometimes it's pretty impressive, honestly. Like this case here is pretty basic, but I had cases where it figured out some pretty complex missing pieces. So yeah. Okay, like it's done already. Let's see what, because I'm really curious to know how. I don't see anything related to figuring out the changes. Yeah, let's see what. Yeah, it's just a struct. Adding main module. Okay, Yeah, so it just assumes that that the data, that the changes will be. Would you like me to see? Yeah. We still need to implement a way of constructing the changes struct. If there is a GitHub API that we can leverage for this, that would be good. Now, if GitHub API supports this, it's gonna know when it's gonna implement it. But there is a chance that there's no API for this, but it's gonna hallucinate and it's gonna implement some bullshit. We will see. Okay. Get pull request files. Okay. Adding an alias inside a function. What the hell? Pulls files list. Okay, this exists. And this exists. Okay. Yeah, that is interesting. Let's verify if we actually have the hook handler updated to use this stuff, because I kind of missed it. Precursor, okay. Yeah, I don't see it here. Yeah, now we can easily get changes for the pull request and generate a changelog entry like this. So we have a really nice interface, you have to admit. But now we need to actually use it in the hook handler. So please now extend our webhook handler for pull requests that are ready for reviews, so that it uses our new functionality for fetching changes and generating a changelog entry. We want to create this changelog entry and persist it in our database. For now, let's just add a new field to the pull request schema called changelog entry. So add this field and create a migration for it as well. Yeah. Sometimes like confirming these commands is annoying, but when I enabled YOLO mode, which is essentially allowing cursor to run any command without your permission, that can end with a bunch of weird commands being called and me not catching it. So yeah, I still prefer to confirm running commands manually. Yeah, so it added the changelog entry text. Text is good, because it might be a longer sentence or even a couple of sentences in a changelog entry. So that's good. Okay, generate channel entry, added this, that's good. Yeah, so this is shitty, because it added a lot of it added AI logic and like complex stuff to the schema, and schema should be very simple, very basic, and concerned only with like persistence related functionality. So this is wrong. This should be in a context. Yeah, and the webhook is probably fine. Yeah, but yeah, it used the schema. This sucks. So yeah, I need to tell it to refactor it immediately. We should not use ecto schemas for complex business logic like calling AI functions. And so please use a pull requests context for this functionality. Yeah, it's always funny when it says like you're absolutely right. It's just so funny. I'm pretty sure that cursor has like, because it alters your prompts for sure somehow. So there's probably like be super polite. Yeah. It's also funny when like sometimes I get just, annoyed and I just start being just a bit angry with my prompts. I'm joking that I'm becoming like a toxic coworker, and it actually changes the tone of responses. It's still very polite, but the tone changes a little bit. Like it uses like exclamation marks and stuff like that. So it's funny. Yeah. Okay. So. Yeah, now we are using our context. This is really good. There is more, business logic encapsulated by the context. So the controller is simpler, and obviously our ecto schema is no longer calling AI functions, which is good. And yeah, I'm wondering if it's gonna work. I seriously doubt that it's gonna work right from like the first try, but yeah, we will see. Yeah, let's just test it out. I have a very basic pull request, so we will see. Here we're going to convert to draft. Converted to draft. Okay, so this is good. Like we know that we converted a pull request to a draft and nothing crashed and nothing, like there are no unexpected side effects. So that is good. Yeah, so this pull request is very simple. I just added a line length to the formatter. So I'm gonna like mark it ready for review again, and we'll see what's gonna happen. So ready for review. I don't see any updates. I don't see any updates related to changelog entry. So mark ready for reviews. Yeah. So this should happen here. Let me just double check. Yeah, so changelog entry is null. So, I mean, not a surprise because there were no ecto updates in the logs. So let me just paste this thing here and tell it that this didn't work as expected. I opened a pull request as ready for review, and our handler did not generate a changelog entry. Please double check that even handling is correct. And whenever a pull request is marked as ready for reviews, we create a changelog entry and store it in our database. All right. I see the issue. looking at the logs, we're receiving a ready for review action in the webhook payload, but we're not handling this event correctly. Currently, we only handle pull request review requested events, but GitHub sends ready for review when the pull request is marked as ready. Yes, exactly. That was the mistake. Good. Create a dedicated blah, blah, blah. As ready for review. Yeah, sure. Oh, this is clickable. Okay, but it didn't work. That is weird. Anyway, what did it do? Clauses of the same area should be grouped together. Yeah, that's so annoying. Like, it doesn't, it doesn't create functions. They're the same, like the same named functions grouped together, which causes a warning. So that's annoying. I need to like add a rule for this. Maybe it'll help, because I keep like fixing these warnings manually. But yeah, let's test it out again. So back to draft. Convert to a draft. Yes, good. We're actually not updating the status for draft, but yeah, that's not important right now, because I want to focus on the changelog thing first. Yeah, ready for review again. Yes. Oh my god. Yeah, that's the thing, like it worked. Update code formatting configuration to increase line length to 120 characters. That's what I'm talking about. I didn't write a single line of code. Yes. So that's good. I'm gonna commit this because we have a lot of things working. So work in progress, add changelog entry pull requests. Yes, thank you for auto completing this. Good. Now that we have this, I want to create like a dedicated UI for this feature. We have repositories, we have source files, but this is related to repositories, right? So we have a repository show page. We have a section for files. We have a section for connected source files. It feels like a good place for pull requests. Yeah, I want to have like literally whatever in the UI to like see what's going on, and I can just take it from there. So we don't need all this context here, so I'm going to create a new chat. A very long chat is actually not working well typically, so whenever I'm done with a piece of work, I just create a new context. So I'm going to add a bunch of files manually, because I know where this should go. So like repository show and repositories test. Nope. Repository show test. Actually, no, this is the one. Okay, so we have this and repository schema pull requests context, repositories context as well, fixtures, and I think that is enough. Okay, so let's add a user interface for managing pull requests associated with a given repository. We have a new feature where we create a changelog entry for a repository and its pull requests that are ready for reviews. I'm thinking about requirements. So we're gonna have like it already has like an existing page, so it's gonna introduce a very similar like visual elements, UI elements, and probably like lists, pull requests. I'm thinking like what we need exactly for this feature. So there are pull requests that we know about. We can list them. Yeah, like one thing that is definitely needed is that this should be an opt-in, like it shouldn't be enabled by default. So we need some settings for repository. We already have settings field. It's used for template rendering though, but for now I can just use it for both things, and I will separate it. Or maybe not. I will create like a config field. Yeah. So let's see the user interface for managing pull requests. Pull requests. Pull requests associated with a given repository. Pull request. Yeah, I have a pull request. Can you like, build a pull for me, please? We have a new feature where we create a changelog entry for a repository and its pull requests that are ready for reviews. Yeah. There should be a way of configuring a repository where we can enable automatic changelog entries for pull requests. The config should be stored as a config field that you need to add to repository schema. I'm thinking about anything else that might be needed. So we have pull requests, we have repositories, we will have a configuration for changelog entries, but yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. Yeah, like if the user enables it, it's gonna just work automatically. Yeah, I will update the webhook to actually check the configuration as a second step. So yeah, let's do this. Yeah, I've been sitting for an hour. That's a mistake. I should stretch or something in a minute. Okay, so it's going to create a new live component for managing pull requests. That might be a bit too complex at the end of the day, but it's a start. It's a start, so it's fine. Interesting. I just noticed these like plus buttons here that you can insert a new message. I'm not sure what it does exactly. Yeah, so I imagine that it's gonna add a new section here that will like take the entire row. Yeah, it crashed because yeah, it's adding a new field, and it didn't yet run the migrations. So that is expected. Yeah, run migrations, please. There are pending migrations. What? Right. Oh, okay. Okay, so it's doing more than I asked for. Require description. I don't know what this is, but yeah. Sometimes, sometimes you write a description of a feature that is kind of vague, not really specific, but it's gonna focus on like the minimum amount of work that is needed, and sometimes it's just gonna add some like figure things out on its own, like extend your thinking basically with some new concepts, but it's not that of a deal. Like maybe it's going to be useful. We'll see. Include labels, exclude labels. Okay, so yeah, and probably we're going to have a feature where a certain pull request, like if it's got a label, like I don't know, bug fix or something, then the changelog will be generated, and if it's got some other label like yeah, I don't know, like version bump of some dep or something, then the changelog entry will not be generated. So essentially like a way of configuring when exactly you want changelogs to be generated based on labels, which actually sounds kind of useful. So I may actually stick to it. So yeah, okay, so it finished with everything. It didn't run the migrations. Yeah, so it screwed up. It's actually crashing. Not implemented for assigns not in socket. So yeah, it messed things up. So it's essentially broken now. Yeah, that's not gonna work. So this crashes. It's not a good and nor correct way of using components in live view. You need to explicitly pass assigns. Oh, yes, you're absolutely right. Oh boy. Yummy. Coffee at 7 p.m. Key title not found in RepoBot. RepoBot pull request. That is true. That is true. We don't have it yet. We have the pull request number. That is, yeah, that's enough. We can use this for now. We don't yet have pull request titles, so for now, just use the pull request number when listing pull requests. Right. Yeah, we can add very easily. We can very easily add titles because we receive them in events payloads. So that is simple. And it fixed it because we don't have any errors here. Okay, so this thing here is our new piece of UI. So it lists pull requests, it shows the status, and it shows the changelog entry that it generated. And here we can configure them. Oh, okay, so it also, that is interesting. I didn't ask for it. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I didn't specify that I want to have a feature for generating changelogs on demand, but it added that on its own, but it's fine. Configure changelog. So I wonder what's going to happen when I click on it. Oh, okay. Automatically generate changelog entries for pull requests. Yes, please. Require pull request description for changelog. And that's pretty cool, actually. This requirement makes sense. Save settings. So we have configuration, comma separated list of labels for including and excluding. Let's ignore this for now. What I am interested in is whether it's gonna work. Including the, oh no, it's not gonna work including the config check because we didn't implement it yet. Okay, so now it's time to do the final thing, which is to actually make use of this new configuration, right? So yeah, I'm gonna just commit all of that. Add configuration UI for PRs. Okay, so yeah, it's a simple thing to do. Whoops, what web? Why is it web hook? Oh, okay, I got confused for a second. Yeah. Okay, now we need to update our webhook controller so that it actually checks whether a repository is configured to automatically create pull request changelog entries. Yeah, one thing that I will definitely want to do is to add an embedded struct for the config. So it added a map, yeah. Cool. So should generate changelog pull request repository. That's a warning. Yeah, this is not pretty, okay, but again, we're just fast prototyping a feature, so yeah, this is silly. Like we already have a repository here. So we already have repository preloaded for the pull request, so that there's no need to fetch it again just to check the config. Furthermore, we always want to update the status of a pull request, even if the changelog generation is not configured. One thing that AI-based coding, AI assist, when it's helpful, is generating tests and test data. I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough time today because it's pretty late, but I definitely want to show you how to basically write tests for complex things like interacting with an external API where you essentially have to deal with a lot of like different data structures that come from some external systems. So it's very easy to leverage AI for this, even if it doesn't know the data structures, even if it cannot generate them. You can create additional tools like a mix task, for example, that will like fetch the test data from some external system and store it in the local file system as JSON files or something like this. So this is very helpful, and it already speeds up writing tests significantly. But for now, let's just focus on finishing this feature. It's been a little over an hour, so we're going pretty fast. If I wasn't recording this, I would have been done by now. Pretty sure about that. But now it always calls. It always calls the update function, and it generate changelog entry only here. Oh, okay, I see. So repository it was just a name of the repository. I thought that this was like a preloaded struct. Although we did have like pull request dot repository. Anyway, get by repo and number. So this is the name. Get by pull request repository. Yeah, I guess we could preload it there, but whatever. Let's just move on. Okay, so I'm gonna test it now because I want to move to the final feature, which is I'm just gonna check config before generating changelog. Thank you. Whoa. Okay, so the final feature is the coolest part, which is to actually push the changelog entry. So this will be based on the assumption that the changelog file exists and that it's located in the root of the repository tree, and it's called CHANGELOG.md. It's a start, like it's a common naming convention, so it's a good way to start with. Let me think. Okay, so when we have a changelog, we update the pull request with this changelog entry, and all we need to do is to just use our existing functions for pushing to a branch to update the changelog. The tricky part is that changelogs don't have consistent structures, so it's a markdown file. So I mean we could use AI for this as well. I'm just trying to be like mindful about leveraging AI features. I don't want to like use AI for everything. We could assume a structure. Maybe. Actually, like it would be a fun experiment to try to parse a CHANGELOG.md file and figure out the structure. Yeah. Let's start with this. Okay. Okay, but yeah, baby steps. So the thing with using AI for coding is that you really want to apply best practices that we all know, even though you are using AI. So when you have a big feature, split it into small steps and do it in small steps. So that's a very basic best practice, and you really want to follow that. So for now, I'm just going to tell it to generate a changelog entry and append it to the end of the changelog file. And we will think about and implement proper updating of the changelog later on. Yeah, let's do this. Whenever we create a changelog entry and update a pull request, we also want to push this changelog entry change to the pull request branch. This must work under the assumption that there is a changelog.md file located in the root of the repository tree. And for now, let's just append the new changelog entry to the end of the file, and that's it. Changelog. Yeah, that's what I told you about my pronunciation and the thing changelog. Yeah, I keep saying modal as in MODAL, and it keeps writing model. Oof. Fetch the current changelog.md content, append the new entry, create or update the file in the PR branch. Okay, so so I told it to work under the assumption that the file exists, but it's gonna create a new file if it doesn't. That's not good, but okay, whatever. I will let it finish and then ask to change it. Okay. So then tries to handle the changelog file, attempts to get the current content of the changelog if the file is append, initializes, generate the changelog entry, push changelog entry, update file content, client owner. Okay, but branch name. How do we get the branch name? How do you get the branch name? Changelog, PR with changelog, branch name. Generate changelog entry, pull request. I don't recall having a branch name. That's why, like, you always have to assume that it generates code that refers to things that don't exist, right? So let me just double check that. Okay, we have the branch name. Cool. That is good. That is really good. Yeah, so you know what? Like, we don't have a changelog here, so I'm gonna just test it out manually and see if it's gonna add a new changelog. Yeah. So I'm wondering now what's going to happen if we keep creating these changelogs. But it should refresh because like pull requests can change. Like the life cycle of a pull request can be pretty long. So actually it's fine to like keep creating new changelog entries and keep updating the changelog file. So yeah, I also think now that we should be listening to any change to a pull request, and whenever there is a changelog entry and a pull request changed, it means that we may have to adjust the changelog entry. Okay. Okay, ready. Failed to push, changelog entry, file not found. So it's sad that it's gonna create or update, but it actually didn't do it. Maybe it figured it out. I mean, maybe it realized that I didn't ask for create or update, and I only asked for update. So what should we do? We should add a new file. Create. Okay, so what happened is that it created a new changelog entry and it failed to push. So update file content, change message, update change blah blah blah, content. Yeah, there's good. Undefined function, update file content. Oh, come on. Yeah, that's what I was referring to. Like it sometimes it like confidently writes code and refer to functions or modules that don't exist. So yeah. Show. This function does not exist yet, so please implement a new callback and then implement the function itself in the GitHub module. Yeah, I should have added GitHub. Yeah, GitHub module to the context. It would have helped. So I was hoping to finish this in an hour and a half, and it's 1 hour and 25 minutes. So we will see. 4 minutes actually now. 1 hour and 26 minutes. Update file content. Yeah, it's encoding properly, and it's using Tentacat contents update, which I guess is right. I don't recall this specific function. Okay. No. Yep. Okay. So this is good. I guess I will just test it out. Okay. Convert to draft. Ready for review once again. And it crashed. It crashed with a different error. And the funny thing is that it actually worked. So it pushed, yes, it pushed the change. But it didn't handle the response tuple correctly. So if I'm not mistaken, the changelog here is going to be changed by the oh my god. There we go. There we go. Okay, I think this is a good way to finish this session, because again, like parsing changelogs and figuring out their structure and updating them so that the new entries end up in the correct place, this is tricky. Like, this is a tricky business. So, but yeah, 1 hour, 28 minutes, including a couple of breaks. So the video will be shorter. I think we can safely assume that if I just sat down and like did all of the work that you've seen, that would be less than an hour. I'm 100% sure. Since I have like 90 seconds, let's just quickly summarize what happened here. So we added a new webhook handler for handling pull request events, so that whenever a pull request is ready for review, we're updating our existing pull requests with a new status, or we are now adding new pull requests that we didn't have yet. So that was one big change. Then we added a way of generating a changelog entry, which is basically a summary of changes that are in a pull request. And then we added a user interface for configuring a repository for automatic changelog entries. And we added automatic pushes to a pull request branch with updated changelogs. And that was implemented in less than an hour, practically speaking. Again, if I wasn't recording, if I didn't have a couple of breaks, that would have been like 45 minutes probably. Having said that, this is absolutely not production ready, right? I essentially learned how to implement it, right? This is not something that I would push to production for people to use. I can use it myself as a prototype. Sure, I can play with it. I can learn how it feels to use it. I can definitely spot some rough edges. I can discover like some things that should be improved. So it's extremely beneficial that I was able to do it so quickly, right? However, to really finish it, I need to first and foremost add tests, but also just clean it up, because chances are the code is just too complex. Yeah, that was a good session, and I'm happy that I had some time to record it. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. And yeah, hopefully I will manage to record some more. Bye.